And welcome to Focus on Stafford County. Steve Webster, your host today, as we get a chance to talk about everything going on in Stafford County. Our neighbors to the south. Joining us on the program, this is the first time we've had a show since October. They were the holiday edition that they didn't want to come in on Christmas or New Year's. So, anyway.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, or Thanksgiving, yeah. You're right. You don't work holidays. That is the voice of Ashley Bevan. She is the Eco Devo Program Director for Stafford County Economic Development. Carolyn Dunn is back with us.
Hello.
Carolyn is the Economic Development Director for Stafford County, and her first time on the program today. We welcome in Hannah Ward. She is the AmeriCorps Vista for Stafford County, replacing Kathleen Norman. Welcome to the program for the first time, Hannah. Thanks for being with us here today. What happened to Kathleen Norman? How's she doing?
Well, she moved on to a position at a community college in Colorado doing workforce development. So I think her year with us really positioned her well to take the next step, and we wish her well there.
How did the AmeriCorps Vista work in its first year? Like you thought it would? I mean, Kathleen seemed like she really did a lot of good things for you guys.
Oh my gosh,
yes. In a year. I think back and they renovated, A, acquired funding, B, renovated a building, and C, set up a whole new workforce development program. So all the things that go on behind the scenes to do that, including policies and how you develop your training program. And Ashley probably can chime in here, but they had a full year, and I'm proud of what they accomplished.
It was definitely a full year. Kathleen joined us last February. And so she actually ended her service year a couple months early, which right before the holidays, I guess, was a good time as ever for that to kind of part ways. Like Carolyn said, she's in Colorado now. I've had to take things over kind of by myself over in that building. And I think I took for granted having Kathleen over there because she did a lot. And I do have to say she had a lot more knowledge about the back end of computer software and setting some of that up than what I did. And so I just made sure before she left that she basically wrote a manual for me. So if I've got something I need to set up on a different computer, or I've got, issues with how it's operating, I think I can figure it out with the instructions Kathleen left. I think we built a relationship to where she said, if you have problems, don't hesitate to call me. She's like, I can still try and help you. So I appreciated everything that Kathleen did. She went above and beyond during her service year is how I would categorize that. But like Carolyn said, our Workspace 311 is up and running. We've had about 32 people take our initial assessment, and I think 7 people have actually signed up for our Flex Jobs account. And so that is an online platform where they vet remote work opportunities. And we have some individuals that have gone right into setting up their account, uploading their resume, and applying for jobs. We do have one individual for sure that has a part-time job. I think she's doing medical coding or medical transcription work. And like I said, at that point, it's part-time because she does have a full-time job during the day. I will be sending out a month-end check-in with our other 6 people the end of this month. So I'll be curious to see if anybody else has actually gained any employment going through our program. So all of this information can be found on our website. It's under our work tab. And that's where you can find a link to the initial assessment, and then I'll touch base with you via email after you've taken that, and then we can put you in one of our career paths.
And as you mentioned, it's a great opportunity for someone who wants to maybe pick up a second job
Absolutely.
in this situation. So
absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's a very sensible way to ease into this field that is, new to a lot of people around here. I think we're still working with the fact that people are kind of getting their heads around how remote work works, So doing something part-time to ease into it, I think makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. So
this has it picked up a little bit from, like you said, it's been hard. It took me like 6 or 7 shows to get my arms around it, but that's me. But great opportunities down there.
Yeah.
And I think we will continue to evolve all of what we can offer in this. So, for example, we have a call coming up with one of our Flex Jobs partners, and this would set up a dedicated company to work specifically with us. So if we're successful in setting something up that way, people would continue to have access to the thousands of jobs in a range of companies and areas of expertise that are out there as remote work. But we'd also have one company that we know specifically is offering specific jobs, and it would allow us to offer some opportunities with a little more definition and certainty up front if people prefer that type of thing. So we'll keep evolving it, and I think that it'll only have room to grow in many ways.
And we're learning with part of this that when people are looking for remote work opportunities, they might need to start at a more basic level just to get themselves experience working remotely before they find their ultimate dream job, as you would say. So again, it's still a learning process. And like Carolyn said, there's literally thousands of jobs listed on the FlexJobs website that I haven't even wrapped my head around. But they have awesome search engine functions. So you can put in whether you're just searching for part-time or full-time. Maybe it's freelance work. It's an awesome platform that people are very fortunate to have access to, in my opinion. So.
And again, more people can find out more on the website.
On our website, yep. We have a remote work and training opportunities tab underneath our work tab on our main website. So StaffordEcoDevo.com.
Okay, we talked about Kathleen Norman, she's moved on to bigger and better things now, AmeriCorps Vista. And Hannah Ward is the new AmeriCorps Vista. Carolyn, kind of explain what Hannah's going to be doing as the Vista for Stafford County.
She has a slightly different role. In fact, she's actually got a different job slot, I guess, if you will, than Kathleen. So her focus will be on more like strategic-oriented projects for the county, including housing and industrial development. So within that, she's going to be assisting us with data collection, community outreach, and assembling some applications for funding related to, like I said, housing and industrial development are really at the top of our list.
Okay, Hannah, welcome again to the program today. Hannah Ward, where's home?
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. How did you find out about the AmeriCorps Vista opportunity here in Stafford County?
I have family in Stafford County, and they kind of pointed me in that direction.
So talk about your education and what led you to this position, kind of your background and your journey here.
Well, I'm in college right now. I'm in my second year. I'm not quite sure what I want to get my degree in or what I want to pursue. So this is kind of just like a stepping stone of maybe I like this and I want to go into this, or maybe I don't like this and I know that that's something I can check off the list of things I don't want to do.
What college you go to?
I go to Pima Community College in Arizona. So I do it online.
They've got a good baseball program down there.
Yeah.
At least they used to back in the day. Anyway.
Yeah.
But, what intrigues you about this opportunity you have right now? Because I know it's probably one of those things. There's some excitement and there's some nervousness at the same time.
I'm not really sure, honestly. I heard about it and I was excited to try new things. I've never really I was born in Kansas, but I grew up in Arizona. So kind of just being able to get away from home and experience a different aspect of life, I guess, is what interests me in coming here. I'm really excited to work under Carolyn and Ashley. They both seem like really great people and really great mentors that I can learn a lot from. So that was also something that kind of steered me in the direction of going this way.
Carolyn, Ashley, what kind of stood out about Hannah when her name kind of popped up as a possible Vista?
Young and energetic, brings lots of energy to the office. And I always like to pull in young individuals that aren't really sure what they want to do in life, because I feel like we cover a whole gamut of things in our office. And so I look at it as a good opportunity for a young individual to get some experience.
Yeah, I think have the right attitude, the right curiosity can take anyone a long way. And I sense that about Hannah. And this is our second day, and we've...
Oh, this is your second day?
Second day.
I was asking all these things. Well, Hannah, what have you done so far? Well,
and we have already, in 2 days, had a pretty wide range of things we've done. We worked with some high school students that are doing a promotional video for the town of St. John. They're submitting a video to HGTV. HGTV is doing a call for submissions. They're looking at doing a hometown, they call it hometown takeover, but they would renovate a series of both commercial and residential buildings in a town of 40,000 or less in size. And so they're asking towns to pitch why they are the right town for them to feature. And so our students in St. John High School have a film production class. And within that class, they are putting together a video. And we've helped highlight some buildings that would be a good thing to feature from Gray's Studio, which is at a stage that it needs to, have its renovation continued. Yesterday we're in the upstairs of the old grocery store building, and it's got this great open loft space that would make an Art Deco apartment to die for, in my opinion. And so we showed them that raw space, and the students, did filming of that. So that's just one example of one of the varied things we've done in just less than 2 work days. Now we're here on a radio station. So,
and we were talking this morning just about what we were going to talk about on the program today. And then Carolyn was filling me in on another project, and her and I are having our own conversation. And then I looked at Hannah and I said, Hannah, if you have questions, speak up, because Carolyn and I know what we're talking about, and you might not.
Well, have you taken her on the tour? I mean, have you gone to Hudson? You taken her to the headwaters of the Rattlesnake, or gone to Stafford?
We haven't, but I did joke about, with this idea of showing those places that aren't yet renovated. Here we are in the cold. It was snowing yesterday, and Hannah's from Arizona. So I did make a joke of the tour of cold spaces. Is what we started out with.
Just remember this: it's a dry cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Which isn't the case at all.
No.
Well, it's the way that we operate here. We have a range of things that are traditional economic development, but also community development. I think she'll get an introduction to a lot of different fields.
Okay, Hannah, I'm always curious because you said you have family here. When was the last time you were back?
So I come back pretty frequently to visit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just I never stay more than a week or even just a couple days, a weekend, whatever. So now I'm back for a year.
Because I was wondering, what your impressions were of the area, and then you come here, and then what your impressions are now. But that's question doesn't. You've already been here. You're a veteran of South Central Kansas right now. Okay, Carolyn Dunn, Ashley Bevan, and Hannah Ward with us here on the program. Another fun project. We've been talking about this a little bit, that painting a mural on the wall in downtown St. John.
Well, sometimes I have projects that I'm reluctant to talk about because they're in the works, but they're not definitely going to happen. And this one I'm going to tell you about because it's definitely happening. We had last fall an individual come and approach us, and he had a vision of putting a mural on an open wall in the downtown part of St. John. It so happens that Economic Development owned that vacant lot, and he wondered about putting a mural there. He had funding to apply toward it from a memorial of his dad, and it's kind of grown from there. We saw the opportunity to take that initial funding and potentially double it by applying for a grant with the Kansas Creative Arts Industry Commission, which would allow us to do landscaping in that lot as well. And so all of that is coming to pass. The Kansas Creative Arts Industry Commission did approve our grant. So we have now a steering committee that includes David Robinson. He's the individual I was telling you kind of initiated this. He is actually a direct descendant of the original settlers of St. John and belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ, which was the group that really initially settled the town of St. John. The mural is intended to tell a little bit of that story of how our town was founded. It's one of the towns in the state that was a utopian community. So they saw this as a place that they could kind of land and create that utopian community. And so this mural will seek to tell a little bit of that story. And we have now a steering committee that met and chose between 2 professional muralists. We had 2 submissions and 2 different, very distinct styles. The steering committee includes, I could look at it as a range of from senior citizens to high school students, from people who are direct descendants of the settlers of our town to someone that's moved here within just the last couple of years. And it's been fun to have that group together, figuring out how they want to carry this out. And then
how do you decide on a muralist? Or have you yet?
They have. I mean, the 2 muralists submitted
so there's
examples. Well, we had 2 different muralists submit their their proposals, and then they chose of those two. So one of the muralists had more of a, I would call it kind of a street style. It wasn't, it had more of a graffiti feel to it. It was a little more edgy, I guess, is maybe one way of characterizing it. And then the other one had a much softer style. The example that she showed us of previous work to me looked like, a traditional oil painting. The group decided that her style, and, we talked with both of them. We organized a video call, and they kind of got a feel for what it would be like to work with each of the two artists. And I think they felt like her style was more compatible with the group that's working with this, and so they made their decision.
When is she going to be able to get started?
Well, she'll be here in February to kind of finalize some plans. The intent, though, is for this to be completely finished by May.
By the time the
Mid-May.
landscapers get here.
Well, part of what is driving kind of the desire to have this done on a certain timeline is that we have, for one, our city festival is St. John Jubilee on Memorial Day weekend. That's when we, have a lot of alumni back, and it's our big annual celebration. It would be nice to have some of this in place for that. And then secondly, we are going to be on the route for Bike Across Kansas this year. And so we will nearly double the population of St. John on June 8th. And we think it would be a perfect time to show this off. And actually, some of the students that are involved in helping design this have agreed to help us carrying this out, and we'd like to have things like maybe a selfie station set up there on the day that the 900 bicyclists are here, and the high school students can kind of help us with that. I mean, there's just, I think, a lot of things that engender community pride that can go along with this.
Are you going to put like big scaffolding up with a big tent over it so you can unveil it at once, or is that going to or people just see this come together?
I think they may just see it coming together.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, wouldn't that be
This
neat
is where I'm thankful that there are people who are professionals in this area or
the steering
hand on
committee.
this.
Let's go. Come on, we can put it up, and then you can have it done, and then you can just unveil it all at once.
Would you like to be on the steering committee?
No, because
I think she anticipates taking up to a month to put together.
wow.
So we will hopefully have everything, for example, the wall is going to take some repair work so that it's ready for her to apply her design. And so we hope to have all that prep work done by the time weather starts getting good and predictably, I guess, as far as Kansas goes. But, she, I think, plans to do her work in April into May. And
Okay. Real quick here, you've got the house ready to tour by June 8th, the house that's being built in partnership with KSU.
Well, that's another one that we hope we can accomplish on a schedule that allows us to show it off when our visitors come here in the beginning of June. But we've continued to make progress with the model house that the K-State College of Architecture is developing in partnership with us. We actually have a call coming up tomorrow, which will put some final decisions in place, and it won't be long before we're pouring concrete foundation, and the hope is that we will have this house complete by June 8th again, so that when we have people coming to see St. John, that we can offer them the opportunity to tour this innovative house.
Another thing here on the list here, I just want to get to this too, something that has been discussed here with the City of Great Bend meeting with county government, because sometimes I think we seem like they're two different entities, even though I live in Great Bend, but I also live in Barton County too. But come up with a strategic plan together.
We're getting started with some opportunity to try to facilitate some conversation. I guess where this kind of came from, we were working with the City of St. John's Land Bank on a donation of land for housing development in conjunction with a grant. And they kind of said, we'd like to work with you on some things in addition to the housing. I said, great. And it kind of led to some discussions of bigger goals for the county. And it's leading now to the idea that the two entities are planning to have a joint meeting together. We'll see where that goes, but it's very much something that will fit in with the kind of role that we have set out for even Hannah as the AmeriCorps, to work on data collection and community outreach with larger strategic projects. So that is going to be something we'll be working on a lot in the next month to 6 weeks, and we'll probably be able to offer a good update on that our next program. And part of the reason I'm bringing it up right now, too, is that we want the public to be involved in this when we have our meeting, which hasn't yet been scheduled. But when that comes up, we will definitely invite the public to participate in that. So I'm kind of putting up that, I guess, heads up that's in the works.
Okay. Anything else? We ran out of time.
Well, we covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, we sure did. Hey, that's our show. Focus on Stafford County today. News coming up next. Sports Day at 12:25 right here on KBGB Great Bend.